What up, Chitimus here. With the new Beverly Hills Cop film, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, coming out this week, I'm of course doing my reviews for past Beverly Hills Cop films. So here's my review for the very first film that got released. I mean, there's only 3 movies in the franchise, but the very first film that got released, and that is 1984's Beverly Hills Cop. It is insane to believe, like, this December, it'll turn 40 years old. I mean, I wasn't alive when this movie came out. I mean, I actually obviously watched it a little later, a little later in life. But I did actually rewatch it in theaters one time. Either I wasn't alive to see the movie when it was first released in theaters. I was able to watch it back in I think 2014 when they did like a re-release. So not bad experience. Uh, Now the original Beverly Hills Cop was directed by Martin Brest, who's directed other movies. His other films includes the original Going in Style, the Al Pacino Oscar-winning film The Scent of a Woman, which won Al Pacino his Oscar. Although his career really took a stumble, because you know what his last movie was? The god awful Ben Affleck Jennifer Lopez film Geely. Yeah, it's a shame that his career went sideways. I mean, he had not directed a film since Geely, which is a shame. I mean, it's been like uh 21 years. I think he's ready to come out of direct jail, but whatever. Maybe he retired. I don't know. But Beverly Hills Cop, which was an interesting premise too, by the way. An interesting development because originally it was supposed to be a police drama with Sylvester Stallone. Of course, Stallone was coming off of stuff like Rocky and all, so he was trying to find his new franchise. So Stallone, was going to start, but that fell apart. And so they decided to make it into a comic with Eddie Murphy, who at the time, his first film he did was 48 Hours. And obviously he was just coming off of SNL. He was one of the most iconic, like, he still is, one of the most iconic comedic stars of all time. And since then, he's obviously done lots of other great stuff, from Trading Places to Night Professor, Dr. Doolittle, Norbit, Pluto Nash. I mean, not everything Eddie Murphy was in was the best. But I feel like we're getting an Eddie Murphy assance, so really always cool to see Eddie Murphy back on screen. Now, if you guys don't know much about the original Beverly Hills Cop, it starred Eddie Murphy as Axel Foley, and who leads, whose childhood buddy is murdered while visiting Detroit, and he pretty much follows the lead to Beverly Hills, California, under the auspices of a vacation. He checks in with old friend Jenny Summers, played by Lisa Otbacher, and starts to believe her boss, art dealer Victor Melitar, played by Stephen Burkhardt. And so you of course have the great Ronnie Cox, who played Lieutenant Bargmo, who is involved in who is of course trying to help out with the murder as well. And you also have the great Paul Reiser and Judge Reinhold, who plays like Axel's partners here. Judge Reinhold is always amazing. I love Judge Reinhold. Like one reason why I'm excited for the new Beverly Hills Cop is that we got Judge Reinhold back, just in general, because you don't really see him a whole lot anymore. Like, remember in the 80s, he was everywhere with, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He was in, I think he was in Vice Versa, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, yeah, he also played the character of Ned from the Santa Claus, the guy with the sweater. Or, Charlie's stepdad, I should say. Yeah, you don't really see him a whole lot anymore. But I love Judge Reinhold. He's always great on scene. You also have, like, James Russo was in this. John DeBanks, like, years before Breaking Bad fame. You also had Damon Wayans, before like My Wife and Kids and even In Living Color. This was actually Damon Wayans' first ever feature, by the way, which I is insane to believe. But he only had like one scene. And it's only a memorable scene where he plays like the Banana Man, where he puts like a banana in like a back of a car air duct thing. That aside, Beverly Hills Cop is just one of the best cop comedies of all time. Eddie Murphy plays his part perfectly. The humor is terrific. It's so memorable. The music is great. Beverly Hills Cop is just obviously the best Eddie Murphy movie there is. It's a movie that still holds up today. It spawned 2 other sequels, which I'll talk about tomorrow. But Yeah, and of course, 48 Hours was obviously Eddie Murphy's, first major feature. But I feel like it was Beverly Hills Cop that really put Eddie Murphy on the map as a movie star. And the guy, by the way, still doesn't age. He's, I believe, 61 now. I feel like he stopped aging at age 50, and that's it. He still looks the same, And Eddie Murphy, I hope he does stand up again, but he already said that he's not really interested. I guess it makes sense. Like, if you guys seen Raw, there'll be no way Eddie Murphy could tell those type of jokes today. But yeah, who just doesn't love old time Eddie Murphy? Whether you talk about him as Donkey in the Shrek movies, happy that we're getting a Shrek 5. I love Daddy Daycare. I don't care what anyone says. Um, Eddie Murphy it's just a given. He could do drama too. He got an Oscar nomination for Dreamgirls, but it's really Beverly Hills Cop that really cements him as a bona fide movie star. It's just so iconic. One of the best comedies of that year. If you guys never seen the original Beverly Hills Cop, I think you can find it on Netflix nowadays. It should be on Netflix. I mean, the new one's coming out, so it'll be weird if they don't have unless they don't have the rights for it. Maybe that could be it. But yeah, do yourself a favor. Go watch the original Beverly Hills Cop. And the sequels, again, I'll talk about in separate videos. They're fine, just not as good as the original, obviously. Let me let you guys. Have you ever seen the original Beverly Hills Cop? If so, what's up? Were you a fan of it? Were you not a fan of it? Favorite scenes, favorite moments? And bonus question, what are some of your favorite Eddie Murphy movies of all time? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Timmy signing out.